flip-flops on, singing to that highway song. Got a little naive smile, the kind that drives you out. Nothing like playing with fire, brings boy to life. Be with the fuse you light, you're good, dynamite.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this Sunday morning, September the 17th, 2023. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts, which is the Corner Booth Podcast, Rise to the Occasion, The Sports Stove, Crap Root Sports, and many, many more great podcasts out there at BellyUpSports.com. And as always, thank you very much for making us a part of your day each and every day here from 1420 World Headquarters. Anyways, it's week 2 of the NFL season, and you never want to say that starting off the season 0-2 is a must-win situation, or the second game of the year is a must-win situation. But there's 5 teams that I think who are in that scenario right off the bat here, putting the irons to fire right now, getting the season going 2 weeks in. You don't want to start 0-2. There's only been in the last 4 years, only the 2022 Cincinnati Bengals have made the playoffs. So starting off 0-2 is a lot tougher. You're much better off to start off 2-0. That's simple math there, kids. You're much better to start off 2-0 than you are 0-2. It's crazy how, because the football season's so quick, it's done. Bing, bang, boom, see you later. But losing 2 in a row, and that's it. It's a tough road to hoe getting back there. Every team, I've said before, is pretty much a 10-7, 9-8 kind of a football club. And if you fall behind 0-2 right off the bat, you're going to have a really tough go of it, a tough go to make the playoffs, getting that wild card and everything else, and give yourself a shot at a Super Bowl championship. I mean, there's a lot of teams, if they're even if they make the playoffs this year, they aren't a Super Bowl contender by any means. It's just the way it is with quarterbacks and talent, the way it is. But you just got to think the 0-2 start, like I said, it's a tough situation to bounce back from. It's crazy to think that. But number 5 on that list, I got the Chicago Bears in must-win situation right now. Beat last week by the Green Bay Packers, a Packers team they thought they could probably overtake Justin Fields. Everybody to prognosticate now he was going to be anointed the next MVP. People were talking about how great of a quarterback he was for the Bears, but they are on the road in Tampa to play a Baker Mayfield on his 15th team in 3 years and going first overall, however many years ago. It's kind of funny how Mayfield's bounced around the league, but this is a team that has to win. The Chicago Bears, I thought they were going to make that next step. If they lose to Tampa today, they're down to 0-2. And the next week they got the Kansas City Chiefs, so there's no way they're beating them. So you got to think that this 0-2 starting off 0-2 will be likely the death punch to them. The Green Bay team they thought the Bears were going to beat last week. A lot of people had this Bears team making that next step, making the jump. And like I said, they had anointed Justin Fields the next coming of Patty Mahomes or whoever you want to talk about, but they go down 0-2. They lose next week, guaranteed to the Chiefs, and they'll be 0-3. Number 4 on my list is the New York Giants after getting absolutely humiliated by the Dallas Cowboys last week, 40-0, I think it was. They got the Arizona Cardinals today, a Cardinals team that really doesn't want to win a whole bunch of football games. They're in their running to try to get USC Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams out of USC and see what they can do to turn that franchise around. Arizona's a terrible football team. The Giants have to have a bounce back week. Danny Dimes, as he's called, has to have some kind of a week where he can put something together, and they need to win this game. There's no way they'll because next week they got the San Francisco 49ers. So if they lose this one to the lowly Arizona Cardinals, that could pretty much put an end to their season, because they get off to an 0-3 start, and then you're swimming and having to really bounce back and everything else. And the Giants, I don't think they have the talent to do so. So the Giants Giants, they could better find a way to beat a lowly Arizona Cardinals team who, by all accounts, doesn't really want to win football games this year. They have a bad team. They wanted to see if they could start rebuilding around Williams, who basically said as well that he might not come back. He might not go to Arizona anyways. He might go back for his senior year because the way the situation is in Arizona. So even if they get the first overall pick, it's no guarantee that Williams is going to opt out of going to USC and everything else. But so the Giants might find it in their best interest to put a win together this week, because if they don't, they have a very, very good San Francisco 49ers team ahead of them next week, and having Big Cock Brock on the horizon to go 0-3 wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility at all. Number 3 on my list of teams that better find a way to win this week is the Buffalo Bills. After a lackluster effort last week, after Aaron Rodgers went down, well documented, Rodgers went down, Achilles, he's out for the season. Read something this morning that he might come back for the playoffs if the Jets can get there. But you got to think that the Buffalo Bills might want to put something together this week to get out of that 0-2 stretch, to have something going on. They don't really have much going on. You think that the Bills would have won last week after Rodgers went down and Zach the MILF Hunter Wilson went into in relief, and it was a miraculous win by the Jets last week. Nobody saw that coming, even with Wilson in there. But the thing that you got with the Bills is that I don't have a whole bunch of faith in Josh Allen after his comments last week, kind of pushing the blame on a lot of people, saying that it's the same old crap, it's the same old this, same old that, week in, week out, year in, year out, kind of pushing the blame on everybody else when he's been basically a turnover machine for a better part of a season and a half now. You don't know where Wilson where Allen's going to end up, what's going on between his ears. Everybody was anointing them the next coming of the Dallas Cowboys of the mid 90s, going to win Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and didn't get it done again last year. And it's Bills are going to build no matter what. You got to think that they got something going on there, and their window's starting to close a little bit. And Josh Allen, he's got to start putting some win together and being that quarterback that can start winning some games here and there. And you got to think that he's the guy that is going to maybe have a little bit of pressure on him to win this week. They have a pretty they got Arizona, I believe. No, Arizona next week, and then the week after they have a very good Miami team. So going to a 1-3 situation isn't out of the realm of possibility for those Buffalo Bills. So having them win a game this week is very important. The Bills really need to win. They have to put something together and get something done soon, because that team, the window's closing quite considerably, and you got to wonder what's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills moving forward. There he is, the fan of the van, Jim Plotner, good friend of the show, saying, let's go Steelers. The Steelers need to win this week as well, man. Tough week last week. They didn't do much against my San Francisco 49ers. You got to think that the Steelers have to put a better effort in this week and see what they can put together out there in Steel Town. It's she might be a quick season for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. It's one of those things you just don't know how it's going to all turn out. Number 2 on my list of teams that need to win this week is the Cincinnati Bengals at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be a very tough situation for the Bengals to win. I don't have a whole bunch of faith in little Joey Burrow after his 82-yard performance. Yes, it was in the weather last week. Yes, there was a situation where things weren't very good. But you know what the other team had to play in it too. The Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland shit stains, as the fan of the van calls them. But the Cincinnati Bengals are in a situation now where they need Joey Burrow and his great big quarterback he signed before the season started. They need to have him winning a little bit. They need to get going a little bit. Yes, they started 0-2 last year, made the playoffs, but you don't want to fall back 0-2. Baltimore is a tough team to beat. They got a lot going on for them. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in football, so a win is not going to be a guarantee by any means. Playing at home is a 3-point advantage, but they're going to need all those 3 points to stay out of that 0-2 situation. Falling back 0-2, I don't think you can come back from that. It's going to be really tough. But Joey Burrow, abysmal week last week. He's got to have a much better week, and just to get the fans on his side a little bit, because a lot of times people get a little bit envious. They get a little bit disenfranchised, I guess is the word, is when a guy signs that big contract. It doesn't go well the first 2-3 weeks of that contract. The fans tend to push back a little bit. And yes, quarterbacks are king in their hometown and respectively, but it's one of those situations there. If you go 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, you don't know how it's going to go and how the fans are going to push back when you sign that great big contract. Highest paid quarterback in football right now, and the fans are going to want to see a little bit of payback on that situation. So you wonder how the pressure might be mounting a little bit for Joey Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals against the Lamar Jackson-led. And Jackson is, I don't want to say underrated, but he's an underrated quarterback. He doesn't get enough love out this way anyways, but he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So it's not going to be an easy thing for the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game today against Baltimore. And number one on my list of teams that better put something together real soon, but like not now, but right now is my co-host of the 1420 podcast, Dave's Denver Broncos. They better do something. They're losing 17-16 at home last week to a serviceable, I always say Oakland no matter what, Las Vegas Raiders team with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm there. But Russell Wilson, he's got to put something together because as Dave said, it's I'm going to swear here, it's 8:40 in the morning on a Sunday before I go to church. He says it's a fucker walk season for Russell Wilson. He's got to start putting something together. He's got to start doing something because there's going to be a lot of people really asking for his head. And Sean Payton, the new coach there in Denver, he's going to start wanting to win some games at the Mile High City, because it's one of those situations where the fans will revolt. And how long is the leash that Payton has for Wilson, because you don't know what's going to happen there moving forward, because you got to start stringing some wins together. It's one of those things. An 0-2 start isn't a they could lose this game to Washington today pretty easily. You don't know how good Wilson is. You don't know if he's going to last the game. He hasn't done anything of any substance since he's gone there. Payton and him have been squabbling a little bit, and all the beaking that Payton had during the offseason about how the old coach and everybody else was doing so poorly there, and how he would have turned it around. An 0-2 start, people would start pointing fingers at him and say, okay, big dog, you had Drew Brees, and you're saying you were the best coach ever, and all of a sudden you're here in Denver where you're bad-mouthing everybody, and people thought that Wilson was okay. I don't think he's okay anymore. There's a reason why Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks said thanks, bye, see you to him. But it's one of those situations where you got to think that there's got to be a short leash with that Payton has on Russell Wilson moving forward, and going 0-2 against the Washington Commodores, as Dave calls them. Is it Lionel Richie and the Commodores? I think it was. But it's one of those things that that's going to be a really tough win for Denver. And if they don't put something together today, the leash is going to be very, very short, and the people of Denver are going to be pointing, and the Broncos faithful are going to be pointing their fingers a lot at Sean Payton after beaking off how it was. It's going to be an interesting day today with the NFL, but it should be fun to watch. You don't want to go 0-2, like I said. Only the 2022 Cincinnati Bengals just last year have come back from an 0-2 deficit in the last 4 seasons to make the playoffs. So starting off 0-2, it doesn't sound like a big deal at all, but it turns out it really is. And starting off 2-0 or 1-1 is always better than 0-2. It's just simple math, kids. That's how the math works. So it's going to be a fun thing to watch. It's going to be a great day of NFL football sitting down here at the Yankee Tavern North. I got no baseball today, so that's a good thing. I can just watch some football and turn the Yankees are not done yet, kids. They're not done yet. They're done, but not mathematically. They're still later. But anyways, here's a word from our friends at SeatGeek.
The foul baller. If there's a ball that's gone foul, he's gone to get it. Under his watchful gaze, all bevs, binoculars, and ballpark brats are safe. He's the only thing that stands between his section and certain destruction. That's why he only trusts SeatGeek with his tickets. The ticketing app trusted by fans. SeatGeek, so fans can fan.
Anyways, here's Brent's Best Bet, brought to you by BetUS, BetUS.com, where the game begins at BetUS.com. They're back. Happy to have them back on board for the 2023 football season. Use promo code 1420 BetUS for 125% sign-up bonus today. Take Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs to right the ship on the road in Jacksonville after their Week 1 loss to Detroit. Then I got Seattle winning on the road as well to Detroit. For the simple reason, the Lions aren't going to go 2-0. That's just one of those things. I can't see them going 2-0 no matter what. And then take Washington at Mile High City to beat the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson's not going to get it done. The Broncos go to 0-2. So you got, who do I got? I got the Chiefs, I got Seattle, and I got Washington. Put down $20 and get yourself $231.51 at BetUS.com today. Go to BetUS.com today and use promo code 1420 BetUS for a 125% bonus today. BetUS, where the game begins. Thank you very much to BetUS for jumping back online. But remember, if you're going to play, be sure to play responsibly. Here's a little word from our friends at BetUS.
I've been to 56 straight home games.
I've tailgated 61 times.
I've been to 31 practices. I've collected 17 autographs.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've got one sports book.
I've got one sports book. I've got one sports book.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS and get a massive 125% bonus using promo code JOIN125.
Don't use JOIN125. Use 1420BetUS today at BetUS.com. Thanks once again to BetUS.com for jumping back on board with us for the 2023 football season. Anyways, do on this day and some birthdays and get you guys out of here. On this day in 2000, the Miami Dolphins retired Dan Marino's number 13. Marino played 17 seasons with the Dolphins and is widely considered as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Marino is a 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time passing leader, the MVP of the NFL in 1984, and is currently number 8 on the all-time passing yards list with 61,361 yards. Although Marino never won a Super Bowl, the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native was voted on the all-NFL team way back in 2019. So on this day in 2000, the Dolphins retired Dan Marino's number 13. And when you think of the Miami Dolphins, you'll always probably think of Dan Marino, no getting around that. I know they had that undefeated season back in the 60s or whatever it was, but you think of the Dolphins, you think of Dan Marino. Anyway, and happy birthday to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was born on this day in 1995 in Tyler, Texas. Mahomes is the son of former MLB pitcher Pat Mahomes and spent 3 years at Texas Tech before being drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round, 10th overall to the Chiefs, where he's won 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and 2 NFL MVPs, and is highly underpaid. If you think about what the other guys are making, he's making a lot of dough, but not those, he should be making more than the other guys. Anyways, Mahomes is widely considered the best quarterback in the NFL today. So happy birthday to Patrick Mahomes. Have a day, Patty Mahomes, and make me some money at BetUS. Anyways, make sure you go to SeatGeek.com and use promo code 1420pod for $20 off your first purchase. That'll help you save some money, pay for parking or beer or whatever you're going to a football game today. Thanks for everybody who watched the show this morning. We really appreciate everybody. Thanks for all the people listening to the podcast later on today. We'll get that up there right away. And anyways, have a great Sunday. A lot going on. It should be a good sports day. It's a nice day. I might put the TV on outside because it's such a glorious day. It'll be 29 degrees here, so it's 117 in America. I don't even know anymore. But anyways, have a great day today. Have a happy Sunday. Happy football day. Watch some baseball as well, because the playoff races are heating up. The Dodgers clinched last night, so that's a good thing. Anyways, remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a great day, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.